going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out! The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Welcome into the Country Financial Studio on a Friday. It's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Ryan Milano taking you through today's show. It is game day. It is match day. It is in action day here around the athletic department. Track and field still in action at the Mount Sac Relays. Beach volleyball underway as we speak against Portland, going up north against them on the sand. Men's tennis going to kick off against Arizona State at the Student Tennis Center. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, they are a half hour away from first serve over there. It's softball game day. It's baseball game day. They've got series. It's senior week for Oregon softball. If you haven't been following the Oregon softball socials, some great content being put out this week. Amy Sinicola did a fantastic job generating the senior letters from Coach Lombardi to the seniors. It's senior week for the Ducks against Oregon State. Knight Uretsky is here in studio. He will be over at the Jane later today on the call. Senior week, always amazing. Knight, I was on the call for senior day against Oregon State 2 years ago, and Jazz Williams was honored for senior day, and she walked off the Beavers. Are we expecting some similar heroics this weekend?
You know, we'll have to see. It's always going to be competitive, especially with this being the last ever Pac-12 series between these two programs. I'm looking forward to this one. Oregon State, they're coming off a victory against Stanford, a very good team. The Pac-12 is competitive, as always. And so, you know, we'll see if there's a walk-off. But, you know, if you're a Duck fan, you'd like the walk-off to be in run rule fashion.
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for run rule walkouts. We're looking for Oregon to just play some strong ball against Oregon State. If you haven't checked out the Oregon softball socials channels over the week, you're going to want to. It's heartfelt stuff. My heartstrings got tugged on it. It made me really proud. It made me really sad. It made me really excited for this weekend. Great content on the Oregon softball socials pages, on Twitter, on Instagram. Great stuff. It's today at 5 o'clock going up against the Beavers. Knight will be there for the call for KWVA. It will also be on Pac-12 Oregon. They're also in action tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Those will be on Pac-12 Networks and KWVA. And then at 4 o'clock on Sunday, also Pac-12 Networks and KWVA. The final Pac-12 home regular season series for Oregon. There's still going to be one more regular season series coming up next week for the Ducks in their Pac-12 bye week, so to speak. And, well, there could be another. We'll see how postseason ends up shaking out. But Oregon right now, they're in the mix. Still potentially some work to do, but they're in the mix. They're in the mix in terms of regional host opportunities if Oregon can continue to churn forward and chip away. Oregon baseball also in action. They're in contention for the Pac-12 right now, about halfway through conference season. Joey Mack down on the farm at the Sunken Diamond because it's Oregon baseball game day. 6 o'clock today, 2 o'clock on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday. All the games will be televised on the Stanford live stream, but Joey Mack will have the hometown call on the Oregon Sports Network starting 15 minutes before first pitch, so 5:45 is when Joey takes air today. Tomorrow, it is a Pape Field doubleheader. Oregon lacrosse has their senior day, 11 seniors being honored for Jessica Drummond's squad. That game is going to be at noon. It'll be televised on Pac-12 Arizona. And then at 5 o'clock, it is Oregon soccer out at Bat Bay Field for their spring season still continuing. It's the second game of their spring action going up against Portland. A really strong Portland team throughout last season. They've got a strong program, and I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see Oregon going up against another Division I program in spring play, and the Ducks going in action against the Pilots. I think it's going to be some really good soccer at Bat Bay Field. So if you're not doing anything on Saturday, you might just want to spend all day at Pape. I think that's a great idea. Also on Sunday, Pac-12 championships are here. Yeah, Pac-12 championships are here for women's golf up in Pullman Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's when Derek Radley's squad's going to get in action on the links competing for a conference title. And it's the men's tennis regular season finale at home against Arizona at noon on Sunday, honoring all the seniors. That is what's going on in Oregon athletics this week. So much going on in Oregon athletics. I mentioned the Mount Sac relays going on Friday and Saturday as well for track and field, but today it's really senior week. It's not even a day for Oregon softball. The seniors will be honored on Sunday, but it has been senior week. I mentioned the content being rolled out on socials. It's really been a celebration of a group of Oregon seniors because this year's team is so old and experienced for Coach Lombardi. There's a whole lot of Oregon history that is being celebrated throughout so many tremendous players for the Ducks that have really contributed to this program over the last few years for Oregon. And I'm really excited to see them get honored this weekend, and that's going to be some really, really great stuff. On the show for you today, we've got a bunch of softball content previewing the series against Oregon State. Also, Oregon football content. Still a whole lot of players that we haven't had the chance to get to throughout the week that we are going to be able to get to today. But we're kicking it off with the head coach of Oregon softball, Coach Lombardi. It is rivalry week against Oregon State. It is rivalry game day today, 5 o'clock, Pac-12 Oregon, KWVA. That will be where you can get the call. Coach Lombardi breaking down the series versus the Beavers this weekend. Here's Coach.
Can we get a Hannah update from you? Just how she's doing and kind of what the plan is for her for the rest of the season?
Yeah, with Hannah, she was able to have surgery in Arizona, and it was successful. And they're looking at a 3-month recovery for her. We're expected to have a full recovery, and she's in a good place right now.
Has she been able to communicate at all with the team beyond last weekend when she was in the hospital?
Yes, I mean, she was communicating with us like throughout the entire weekend. So yeah,
I imagine that was uplifting to some degree.
Absolutely. It was very uplifting. It was scary to see the situation on the field and for her to tell us that she is okay. You know, I keep saying this. I just think she provided more strength for us than we did for her. So she's pretty resilient.
Have you ever had a player with an injury kind of to that level?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've had ACL tears, you know, but just to see something like that, no.
Just how did you feel like the team kind of responded, and what was your message to them kind of in that moment?
I thought our team, just the way they responded, just with grace and just, you know, the love. I think you could just see the love that they have for Hannah. When that happened after, you know, in the middle of the game, I think for us, we came together, we said a prayer, and from there decided if we wanted to continue on with the game or not. And so we chose to continue on and play for her and to do that for the rest of the weekend.
What was it like trying to coach right after an injury like that and try to finish that game?
It's tough. It's tough. That's probably one of the toughest things I've had to do. So it was tough. But I think we all kept, you know, feeding off of each other and just putting Hannah at the forefront, you know.
You know, moving forward, is the line just going to kind of look like what it did for those last 2 games in Arizona going forward?
Yeah, you could see that. I think we'll just keep going along with it. Like what's going to be the best way to go about it. But, you got to see Kedri in right field. And Kedri's excellent at what she does.
And you like Ariel in center field? That's a good spot for her.
Yeah, Ariel. I mean, all of our outfielders can play any position in the outfield, just pretty much kind of like our infield. They all are just very versatile. So that really makes a big difference for us. But Ariel is very capable of handling center field, and so are some of the others.
Speaking of Ariel, I know you've told this story quite a bit. Can you just maybe one more time go over just what it meant to have her, keep her commitment to this team through the coaching change and, play here for 5 years and everything that she's done for this program?
It's been great. I think about the first time I met Ariel and got to talk with her, I felt like we just really connected well, had a really good relationship, and I knew that I definitely wanted her to stay and to be a Duck, and just to watch her as a person, as a teammate, what she has done for this program, for us, just watching her grow, it's been amazing. Like, I can't believe that we're in her final year, so.
She talked a little bit about how she knew she had power. She had power in high school, but she really has worked hard the last 2-3 years on her speed and making that better. What have you seen from her in her work ethic and just kind of being focused on also being a faster player as long as also being a powerful hitter?
Yeah, I think her speed, honestly, has just always been there. I'm sure she's gotten faster just because of our strength and conditioning and what Coach KJ has done. But you look at her power and what she's done offensively, I just think her work ethic is unmatched. I think it was the summer before her junior year when you started to see her transformation as a hitter. And that summer, she really committed to a lot of different areas that she needed to commit to allow her to be the player that she is today. So it wasn't just like, and this has been a process. She went through into her junior year and she hit 15 home runs that year. Her average was, I think, under 300, but you could see the power. And then from there, her senior year last year, and then now being in her graduate year, you could just see her really put everything together to see the power that she has at the plate, the speed that she has on the base paths, to see that we could take her from right field and put her in center field, put her in left field. Just she's just become an unbelievable athlete for us, and I just think that's because of what she has put into her craft and her training and all of that.
We were talking about before you came in, the transfer portal. Just what does it mean to have so many seniors, with a lot of them that decided to stay and now are going to play their final games at the Jane?
It means a lot. This is a special group. I really, really love this group. I think about them as 9 and how they've come together. I've had some that have been here since day one, and then some that have come, in different parts of their career, and just how well they've connected together and have worked together as a senior group. I think about our retreat that we went on at the beginning of the year and how they just had open arms and took in our freshmen and made them feel included and that they were Ducks and they were a huge part of what we do. And I think how they just have handled things on and off the field with their leadership, and you can really see like how important our program, Oregon softball, is to them. I think for them to how they found this place and then to leave it better than they found it is really important. And I've just been proud of them. I've been really, really proud. I've never had this large of a senior group. So it's just amazing that we're here, We're getting towards the end of the year and we're going to celebrate them this weekend.
You've continued to put Val behind the plate. Earlier this season, we saw her a little bit in right field. Do you find her more comfortable behind the plate, or do you feel like there may be opportunities down the line with the shifting in the outfield for her to find a spot in the outfield again?
Yeah, I just think we're just a very versatile group. We can put Val in right and put Emma behind the plate. There's just a lot of different things that we can do. So I think we're just going to keep kind of moving forward and see. I don't know. We always talk about like each game. In order for us to win this game, what is the game expecting from us? What are we needing to provide? And that's where I think we'll be able to see who is that, that's in right field, who's behind the plate, like what that all works like, what that looks like. And I expect that it'll work the way it's supposed to.
Does your game plan change at all as a coach towards the end of the year when you see a team play so many times?
Sure. I think, like at the beginning of the series, you get to see them. And then by the end of the series, both teams are extremely familiar with each other. And so sometimes you might do something a little different, or there might be somebody that has had a hot weekend and you move them up in the lineup or whatever it may be. So I think one thing that we've just done all year is really focused on just taking it one game at a time and not really looking ahead or behind with this group.
I know Ariel was a really good softball pitcher in high school, and yesterday she was bragging about her changeup.
Yes.
And so I'm curious, as a area of expertise for you, what's your take on her pitching ability?
I think she knows how to pitch. She's got a great changeup. She can spin the ball backwards for her eyes. She can spin it forwards for a drop. I think that just kind of tells you the type of athlete she is. Before she got here, she played on the corners. I mean, I think she's done everything but catch, if I'm not mistaken. So,
have you ever thought about putting her in the pitch?
No, we haven't gotten there, but I think she'd probably do pretty good. So, yeah.
Is there an update on Ayanna Shaw and her injury?
No, just still working through it. Yeah.
Kind of what are your expectations for this weekend? I know Ariel said that just finding that consistency has just been a really big goal, but it's so many different emotions and stuff like that. Just as a coach, how do you find that consistency and how do you kind of work towards that?
Yeah, I think it's just continuing. Every time we put ourselves out on the field, it allows us to get growth. You don't even think of the outcome, but just what type of growth can we get, and then take that and put it towards our next series. And I think that's something that we've been able to do all year. But I think I like where we are as a team. I think this past weekend was a tough weekend. We're going there to win a series, and then, we've got a fellow teammate that's down. And regardless of the outcome of the weekend, just to see our athletes be able to push through that, and knowing that, obviously Hannah was off the field, that was tough, but they pushed through. So I think we're in a really good spot. I like what this group is doing. I think, we're a team that hasn't peaked. I think we're really right where we need to be. I do.
That's Coach Lombardi talking, previewing the senior weekend, talking about some of the seniors, a team that is in the mix but hasn't peaked. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. Coach Lombardi, that interview brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Fresh off the press from the Mount Sac relays, Anthony Trucks in the 110-meter hurdles just set a lifetime best 14:12 in the 110-meter hurdles. Finish in third place in the collegiate section of that event. We're going to take a step aside, and then we're going to get to, a whole lot of football players. There have been so much fresh off the practice field throughout this week. We'll get to a whole lot of what we missed, and we'll get it to you when we come back on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Deer Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you've got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Deer Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you've got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from
A adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union here inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm Ryan Milano, taking you through today's show. Earlier in the week, we got to hear from, a whole lot of football players. And, I want to start with someone who took a chance to return back to Oregon. He's about to detail why he decided to make the decision to stay in green and yellow. Someone who came into last year as a freak. He was on the freaks list as one of the top 5 most physical specimens. He had strength, he had power, he had the physique. That's Jordan Birch, who put up a really strong season for Oregon last year on the edges, pass rushing for the Ducks. And, he's come back, and he's going to be a menace again on the outside. Getting to hear from him for the first time in the spring season. Jordan Birch, here he is.
First take us into the decision after the bowl game. You said you're going to go home and talk to the family. Clearly you did, and you decided to come back. So as a guy who could have gone in the second or third round for sure, what went into it?
For me, I felt like I left a lot on the table, like technique-wise. I felt like there was a lot I could learn from these coaches. And the main reason I came here was to win a championship, and I feel like we didn't accomplish that last year. So I feel like if I come back one more year, we could actually do it.
How much did the Oregon State game in particular, because of how high he's projected to go and how well you did, give you that confidence that not only can you improve if you did that every week, but that you could be top 10 level good, top 10, premier level pick in the draft if you do that every week?
Yeah, I just feel like that week, listening to the hype that it had in for, the opposing team and then the tackle I was going against, I kind of felt like I needed to do more. I guess it showed on the field, so I feel like I could do that every week. And then that was just one game that I happened to, people started to talk about.
What are some of those areas that, if you left something on the table, what do you have to take off? What are those areas that, so you clear the table?
Yeah. I would say 4-eye, like playing inside, and then pass rush. I know there's a lot I could gain from these coaches. They know a lot, so asking all the questions that I need to get that information.
Wanting to win championships. Obviously, you're midway through spring now, but you look around and see the team that's been collected here. You feel like that's something that's available to these guys?
Yeah, I feel like each week our trust for each other, building trust in practice and like that. It's getting better each week. So these new players that's on the team, seeing what they bring, you can kind of see it in the future. We just got to keep working, stay consistent.
You mentioned what's the challenge of that role specifically for you? Is it the combo with the guard mainly and trying to hit the B, or is it spinning off to get to this? What's challenging about 4-eye specifically?
It's probably just the basics. Last year coming in here probably was my first time really having to play it a lot. So, just the basics of, eyes, hands, hips, just trying to control my gap, don't let anybody wash me down or anything like that.
Maybe some of the younger freshmen here, this is a really highly regarded group from a recruiting ranking perspective. Has some of that stood out to you so far through a couple of weeks?
Yeah, all the coaches really hone in on their freshmen and, make sure they have everything figured out. So we get into practice. I know they have a lot of questions they're going to mess up, but as long as they know the basics and fly around, that shows up a lot in practice. And then when they ask questions, we're always there to answer it. So it's not that, they're doing pretty good.
Anything different for you with a left-handed quarterback? You talk about receivers, but I mean, you're taking on a guy face up compared to his blind side. So
Yeah, because I'm left-handed too. So when I put my hand up, it's usually across the body or right-handed. So when he's left-handed and he's turned away, it's a little different throw. And, he's a great quarterback. So it's just trying to figure him out. His game plan. Not what I'm used to. I never had a left-handed quarterback, but it's working out pretty well.
what do you have for the next couple of weeks for the rest of spring? What are the last couple of things you want to work on, or something that you're like, all right, if I've done this so far, if I can do this over the next 7 practices, you feel good over the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, probably stopping the run better, and then learning like the in and out. So, the more I can do to help the team out, I feel like that would be good going into the season and finishing out the spring.
Who are some of those younger guys who are behind it at, whether it be 4I, 5, 6, who are some of those other guys rotating with you?
We got, he's a sophomore now, but AP, and then Aiden Breland, he came in. Those guys, having those guys inside, Jericho, Tion, they're all learning, and we're all kind of learning the same position. I'm watching them trying to learn their position too, because it's different for me, but we're all learning at the same time. They look good out there.
That's Jordan Birch being utilized as an edge rusher, but also a few other ways across that defensive line for Oregon throughout spring football. From one of the veterans on Oregon's defensive line to one of the younger guys, a freshman last year, Blake Purchase. He was someone who had a real impact in his freshman campaign for Oregon off the edge. He was one of a few freshmen for the Ducks on the outside that really made it difficult on opposing quarterbacks. Now Blake Purchase continuing to expand his role now in his second year with the program. Let's hear from the sophomore now, Blake Purchase.
I feel like your development from year 1 to year 2, getting a lot of, a big chance to actually perform last year and play on the field.
I feel like just getting more reps. I think last season, just coming in June, I didn't really have all the reps that other guys have. So just being able to be able to get through a whole spring and a whole season from last year, just get more reps and be more comfortable on the field.
What do you think you improved the most from last year to this year?
I think playing the run. That's probably my main area of focus going into this offseason, is trying to be more just a third down guy, be able to play first and second down. So just trying to play the run a lot better.
Your group is so young, and all the guys are roughly kind of the same age. What's it kind of like growing together, and how do you guys push each other?
Yeah, it's been fun knowing that you can play with these guys for the next couple of years. So it's been really cool just to kind of grow off each other, and just everybody being young is like everybody just willing to learn and willing to work. So there's no real like vets in our room, so everybody's just kind of learning together, and it's been really cool to grow with these guys.
Is it fun seeing your own personal growth, but also noticing it from the guys around you?
Yeah, it's been really cool seeing like Teo, Tatum, even like AP and J-Mo. Y'all probably haven't seen so much of them, but like those guys too, and like just seeing everybody just grow as a collective group. And we're like a really tight-knit group and everything, so it's been really cool to see that from our class.
Been working mainly at the Jack, or getting some reps with the Sam? Or
yeah, I've been doing a lot of Jack and Sam reps this spring.
Do you have a preference?
No, I don't really. I prefer either or. I'm trying to do whatever for the team, really. And I know going to the Big Ten, it might be a lot more base personnel, so learning Sam would definitely be like helpful. So it's pretty cool to do both.
What are some of the things that go into improve working on rundowns for you?
Really just like striking the sled and really like trying to put on muscle. I think I was kind of smaller last season, so just kind of getting bigger and being able to strike the run a lot better, and just like working on and being more just like willing to do it to a point, just like wanting to strike a block and make a play.
How much weight have you put on?
I'm still around the same weight. Like I played the season probably 250, 255. Now I'm probably like 255, 260 range, but just had a lot more muscle on me. Probably that's the biggest difference in my body.
Come to fruition on the field, like that extra added muscle. Have you seen that kind of help you out this spring?
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot different striking blocks. You don't gotta like throw your whole body into it. I feel like last season I wasn't strong enough to like really do it. So now being able to actually strike a block I've definitely seen a difference.
Going against guys like Connerly and Cornelius, how does that kind of help your game the last 2 years?
That definitely helps a lot. Like playing against two of the best tackles that you really see in the whole country. So going against those guys every day, like if you can play good against them and do stuff against them, on game day that you won't see too many people that's better than them. So it's definitely been good.
You feel like you move them around now?
I wouldn't say moving around. There's still some big guys, but I think I'm definitely holding my own a little better now.
Just how good is Shaq for a freshman?
Shaq's big. Yeah, he's huge. Shaq, Yeah, Shaq, he knows how to use his length and use his body. So Shaq, yeah, he's looking pretty good right now for a freshman. Looking good.
He's like the biggest guy. Is he like one of the biggest people you've seen in person on a football field? I mean, he's ginormous.
Yeah, he probably is the biggest person I've seen on the football field. Him, yeah, he's definitely the biggest. He's the biggest for sure. Yeah, he's huge.
That's Blake Purchase going into his second year with the Ducks. Edge rusher for Oregon, outside linebacker, defensive end. Interchangeable, but someone who's going to get after the quarterback. That's really what it is pass rusher. Blake Purchase going up against some talent for Oregon on the offensive line. It probably doesn't get to run into the center very often, but we will when we come back. Hearing from Poncho on the other side on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It is Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. And we just heard from some defensive members for Oregon football, Jordan Birch, Blake Purchase, and, well, now someone whose job is to protect quarterbacks from guys like them. Ipani Lauulu, in his second year with the Oregon program, they call him Poncho, got the start at the center position in the Fiesta Bowl for Oregon. It was his first start of his Oregon career. All reports is that he handled it pretty well. How did he handle speaking with the media a few days ago? Here's Poncho.
Late December into January, talking about snapping and getting more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
After that game experience, and now
pretty good, just still kind of build that confidence, I'm getting there. Still transitioning, of knowing that I'm not a guard anymore. Got to be playing that big role of, JPJ of playing center, snapping, communicating, being more vocal, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's pretty big.
You're already practicing some of the mic calls and all that stuff last year, but between mic calls, all the movement with the ones, just how much more confident do you feel today than even at the end of the season?
I feel really confident because, nothing really changed. Probably there's some tweaks in there, but learning from all the older guys like JPJ, and Steve, and all those older guys that was playing O-line last year, just sitting in a film room, or even if not around, asking questions on the field and stuff. I've gained so much confidence, especially with Coach Terry letting me be the role of being that, that head center. And also when he gave me that job to be the center in the Fiesta Bowl. So being confident in all of that is probably one of the main things.
When you were recruited here, did you think center might be where you ended up playing, or has this kind of been new and exciting for you?
That was a good one. No, I just came here. I thought I was gonna play guard. But obviously, I'm not the biggest anymore. In Hawaii, I was probably one of the big guys over there, so I didn't really think I was going to be playing center. So when I was being recruited, I was recruited to be playing guard. And when I entered last year and seeing how it was, they needed some centers. Coach Terry just kind of threw me in. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to be playing center now.
The school's had a long history of really good centers. JPJ most recently, and guys before Mike Alex, Forsythe, that was on 4-year time. But do you know much of those guys? Have you had much communication of the history of that position?
Not really, but obviously playing with JPJ last year was kind of, how I was build that connection, that bond with JPJ. I haven't really talked to Alex, but, whenever it comes, I'll be more than honored to ask him some questions, about the game, stuff about center.
What lessons do you take from the guard position into the center, when it comes to that communication, helping with the other two guards that are right next to you?
Can you say that again? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Oh, I was saying, what type of lessons do you take from being at the guard position, moving to the center's position, especially when it comes to communication with those around you?
Oh yeah, totally. Because now as a guard, I'll get the communications from the center, then I'll chalk it down to my tackle right next to me. So now being as a center, what I really took from being as a guard is being violent. Because that's my competitive game. I like to be violent, precise. And then now that I'm a center, now I got to make sure I got to get the snap off. You know what I'm saying? But really, nothing has really changed. Just probably being more vocal. Just be more vocal because now you got to be the one. Get down, make the calls. Point like the mic, like he said, and all of that.
What's it playing like with Dylan?
It's pretty cool. Crazy story that Dylan. I was actually watching him play high school ball. I was like an 8th grader and watching him play all my cousins because where I'm from, it was far away from where Dylan went to high school. So all my cousins went over there, played ball with him, and I used to go over there to the games and watch Dylan and also my cousins. So it's kind of crazy how life circles just back,
We always hear about the center quarterback kind of connection. How has that kind of gone for you guys?
Oh, it's gone really good. It's really good. I can say having another 808 guy in the back over there, communications, how I am. It's crazy because he played. I don't know if you played against my brother and stuff, but I knew growing up. But Dylan is awesome,
What's it like being asked to fill the shoes of someone like JPJ, obviously Remington Trophy Award winner, and what's kind of the pressure of that? How does it feel like every day just being asked to be that guy?
Yeah, shoot, it's an honor, it's a privilege as well too, to be able to step in a position where JPJ had left like a legacy of center, like with him winning the Remington, that put a lot of target on my back, knowing that Oregon centers they got, we know what we're supposed to do.
Have you been talking to him much since he's obviously gone ready for the draft? Any advice that you've asked for him, obviously getting ready to transition to this position?
I haven't been really, been busy with football in school, but when he was here before, I kept asking him questions because obviously, Coach Stein still the OC and stuff, so I asked JPJ what would you do in this? So whenever he's around, I try to get as much as learn from him.
How's your older brother as a coach?
Still the same. It's like if he was my older brother back at home, but now him as a coach, he's awesome to still have him around, being there for me and also as the boys and the team, him being there, just leading and being more vocal and getting out of his comfort zone because before he was a quiet dude. My brother, he's quiet. I'm the total opposite.
Have you seen him kind of become more vocal in that role?
Yeah. I see him working with the younger guys like Trent and Shaq and guys, especially with Shaq. He's kind of a big dude, so my brother probably gives him some tips, stuff like how probably stuff like losing weight or playing the game at tackle, stuff like that.
That's Poncho speaking with the media after practice. He was fresh off the practice field yesterday. Hearing from some guys earlier in the week, Austin Novosad, Jordan James. We'll get to that after a timeout. But Poncho taking over for Jackson Powers Johnson. We're less than a week away from draft day. Next Thursday, that's draft day. I don't think we'll have to wait a full week to hear JPJ's name be called. That's just my opinion. 32 picks in the first round. I have a feeling that the Oregon center might be one of them. But what do I know? I'm wearing an O on my chest. I think Jackson Powers Johnson might be gone before we get to next Friday. And I think that's a really, really good thing to hear. And I think it's a great thing to continue that legacy for Poncho up front for Oregon. It is a target for Oregon centers. Now, it's a sign of pride. It's a sign of legacy. Getting that Remington Award winner, the Oregon offensive line has been pretty consistent over the last few years. And, well, I would say big shoes to fill, but I think Poncho, he stepped in the Fiesta Bowl. He's got big shoes in his own right. Now we're hearing from one of the guys who he's going to snap it to, one of the quarterbacks, Austin Novosad. That's what's coming up on the other side on Duck Insider, the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're talking football. A lot of spring football interviews. Heard from some members of the defense, a center, and now someone who might be snapping the ball to this new quarterback. Oh, I guess that was reversed. Now someone who might be receiving the snap from the center. That's better. Yeah, Austin Novosad. He is in the second year with the program. Novosad, a pretty highly touted recruit, came in last year, was a member of Oregon's team, and really competed throughout spring ball. Now another chance for some competition in this quarterback room. It is a talented quarterback room that Oregon has, and, well, the young gun's one of them, Austin Novosad. Let's hear from him. Here he is.
Whole year been like for you? You've been here about a year now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. I think from last year to this year, a lot of development, and a lot has changed. I think gotten more confident out there, and seen some success this year for sure.
Have you grown physically? Have you packed on some weight, and kind of what's that process been like for you?
Yeah, man, I got here, I was super thin, 179, and now sitting at 201, 202, and I think our nutritionist has done a great job. Brennan, staff have just helped me put on weight that I needed for sure.
How did that help you? I mean, what do you feel like you're better at now that you're that much bigger?
Yeah, I think just building lower body and abs was kind of my main focus, and you see that on the field, just being able to rip the ball now, because those are all everything you use to throw. So.
Where do you see the development? You said you've had some development over the year. Where have you gotten better at?
Yeah, I think just playing the game, being confident, knowing exactly what you're doing on offense, scheme-wise, and then also knowing the defense, like what they're trying to do. Our defense does a lot of different things. Coach Landon likes to mix it up, and so being able to pick up certain things with our protection, that's definitely what's grown the most.
You've been able to learn under some of the most experienced quarterbacks to ever play in college, Bo, now Dylan Gabriel. What's it been like working with those two guys specifically?
Yeah, I mean, Bo, just the preparation, that's the biggest piece, and his leadership really, like when he goes out on the field, seeing how he operated, and then when we're in meetings, just really seeing how he takes notes, prepares each week. That's been good to kind of learn behind.
When you add weight as you did, is part of that also a little bit of trying to help with durability? Because I mean, a guy your size at 180, that's hard.
I mean, definitely in this new conference, I mean, the guys get bigger up front, and so you're going to need to be able to take hits, and so having that weight's definitely going to help.
A lot of new faces in the quarterback room. You're the only, I guess, guy coming back, basically. What's it been like, kind of getting to know everybody, and what's the camaraderie or chemistry like with those guys?
Yeah, me and Brock are coming back, and so we've had a good relationship, and then the guys coming in, I think we've gotten along great, and we continue to just push each other every day. That's awesome, and then kind of the friendship outside of football is always there. It's a great group of guys. Dylan's definitely funny in the group, and so he kind of keeps us going each day.
A couple people have said he's funny. What makes him? Is he just a silly guy, or what? How would you describe that?
Yeah, I think just kind of, he wants to work, and he's going to push us, and then, kind of when there's time to make jokes or something, he's going to pop something in there and get everyone giggling. So.
What's the competition been like in the quarterback room this spring?
It's been good. I mean, everyone's getting reps, and we're all just kind of trying to take the most of what we get, and I think you see that on the field, and then, everyone's talented, so we're just pushing each other to be our best.
The outside cost, and everybody's focusing obviously on two prominent transfers who come in, and that comes with it. To outsiders who speculate and talk about, what the third quarterback's going to do here or there, what do you tell people about why it's important to be in that role, why competing with guys who are more experienced is valuable and important to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to work, and I think that the most important thing is you're making the most of your opportunities. And, Coach Stein, you'll hear him say it. I mean, when you're out there, just go in and do what you're supposed to do, and then you'll see success kind of happen. And so I think, when you look at our room, everyone's getting reps, and we're all just trying to be the best that we can and kind of run the team.
That's Austin Novostad, the young gunslinger in the quarterback room for Oregon. And, he's got a talented backfield behind him as well. Bucky Irving, he's off to the NFL draft. He could potentially be drafted by the time that we're talking here next week. And, someone who he shared a backfield with, Jordan James. Not very often where you get, I don't even want to call him a backup running back because he had 11 touchdowns and almost 900 all-purpose yards last year. That doesn't feel like backup production to me, and he's not stepping into a backup role this year. Jordan James looking to see maybe even an increased usage in Oregon's offense this year. Let's hear from Oregon's tailback. Here is Jordan James.
It's not always easy when your position coach leaves halfway through the spring, but what's that transition been like for you guys as Coach Samp comes in?
It's been, we have to work through it. Obviously, the unexpected loss of Coach Locke, but I think we've done a great job just within ourselves, holding each other accountable and still doing the things we're supposed to do, while that process happens.
What have you seen from Coach Samp since he came in here? What's that relationship building been like with him?
I like him. He knows what he's talking about, so he's going to help us win games. He's going to help us get better at every aspect of our game.
Did you know him at all? Did you see somebody who contacted you while when you were recruiting, going back to SMU when he was there? Or?
No, I didn't know anything about him.
Dan said it was last week that he said that it was really important for you to have you and Noah and have those veteran kind of presences in that running back room with this new transition into a new coach. How have you felt like that's been important for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's important to just have some structure. Obviously we didn't have that when we were going through the process of finding a running back coach. But like I said, we've all done a great job of the whole room does a great job of holding each other accountable and doing the things we're supposed to do regardless of the situation and what's going on.
Was there much change with the coach? Dan Lanning kind of said it's a well-oiled machine at this point. You guys are kind of just rolling. Was there really much of a change?
I'm not gonna say there's not any much of a change as far as the way we practice. I feel like we always practice with high intensity, physicality, things like that. But Coach Samp has definitely brought a different aspect of the game to us.
What's this offseason been like for you? Obviously, there's a lot more expectations for you going forward. Bucky gone. What's that been like, kind of managing all of that?
It's been good. I love the challenge, so I'm gonna keep working, do what I gotta do.
Until you can do it in a game, what do you try to do here in the spring and throughout the off season to prove that you can be a not just a 10 carry a game, a 20 carry a game kind of lead running back one guy? What can you do in the course of an off season to show that to the staff, to show that to your teammates?
Just getting in better shape, getting in way better shape, knowing what I'm supposed to do on every single play, and just executing. That's all I can say.
It's been good having Noah back out there at practice, and you guys, I'm assuming, kind of pushing each other every day. What's that been like?
Most definitely. It's just good having him back. Like I said, we have a lot of we have some good guys in the room, Jaden and Jay. But as a running back, you always want depth at that position. So it's always good to have him back out there, and have his leadership out there too.
What's your view of Jay Ben? Obviously, he was relatively unknown coming in here. What have you seen from him so far?
He's a big physical guy. I'm not gonna lie. He's hard to tackle. He's gonna be hard to bring down. He's gonna be somebody that helps us win some ball games.
Kind of blow your mind that he was playing D2 football.
It does. It honestly does. He was overlooked for sure. That's all I can say about that. He's one of those guys that are overlooked, but he gets his chance to prove himself now. So
it's a talented running back in a talented running back room. There's a whole lot of players that I am excited to see out of that tailback grouping to get back onto the football field for Oregon. Some new faces, Noah Whittington, who got injured early last year, seeing him back out on the football field. I'm excited for a whole lot of that. Oregon Spring Game coming up a week from Saturday, April 27th at 1 o'clock at Autzen Stadium. Bring non-perishable food items for Food for Lane County and get in the door. Matt Carney concert. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for this weekend, too. Oregon Softball Senior Week at the Jane. We heard from Coach Lombardi earlier in the show, hearing from some seniors. The Eugene woman, Ariel Carlson. That's what's coming up next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It is senior week for Oregon softball going up against Oregon State. Knight Uretsky's directing the show. He will be over to the Jane right after the show for a 5 o'clock first pitch for Game 1 of the series between the Ducks and the Beavers. Someone who's getting honored this weekend, a Eugene native from Marist High School, Ariel Carlson, who is currently the co-leader in the Pac-12 in home runs, the co-leader in the Pac-12 in runs batted in, one of two players in the country with at least, I think the number is 12-plus home runs and 14-plus stolen bases. Yeah, one of two with those home run stolen base numbers in the country. She's pretty good, and she spoke with the media earlier in the week. Here is the senior from Eugene, Ariel Carlson.
You're coming down on your final games at the Jane. What has it meant to just be playing in this ballpark and be here throughout the years?
Yeah, it's meant everything. It's definitely a bittersweet feeling for me, just growing up at what was once Howe Field and watching Oregon softball play then, and then watching it transform into Jan Sanders, and then getting to end it here. It feels amazing, but it's bittersweet for sure.
What do you want to be remembered as an Oregon Duck?
I think just someone who works really hard. I think my work ethic is something I take a lot of pride in, and I've had a lot of ups and downs throughout my career, but I always have been able to bounce back and be there in big moments.
Ariel, as the regular season starts to wind down, what does this team need to do better? What do you guys need to improve upon as you start looking ahead to postseason play?
I think just consistency. I think we've shown what our potential is and how good we are. We're capable of beating anyone out there, and I think we can be really dangerous when we're at our best. So just finding ways to just be consistent in all areas, pitching, defense, and then hitting.
What does that consistency look like to you?
I think just the flow of the game is just, we always have the momentum when we're working well together. Pitching, we get in it on the field quickly and then off the field quickly, and then we just pass the bat through the lineup. Everyone working together, doesn't need to be one person, but just 1 through 9, all firing.
Is there necessarily maybe one game where you guys kind of look at that game as kind of like the standard of what you want to play to every time? Is there a game that comes to mind, or do you guys still feel like you're looking for that game where like you're like, okay, this is it, this is how we need to be playing heading into the postseason?
Yeah, I think every game that we've played, I'm sure someone can find something that we could do better at, but I just think the Washington series that we played here back at home just a few weeks ago, I think that was a really good series for all of us. They're obviously a very talented team, but we were able to take 2 from them. So I think that just shows us how capable we are. And some of the games were high scoring, but then the game on Sunday was lower scoring. So it's like, just when we need pitching, it's there. When we need offense, it's also there.
How emotionally taxing was this past weekend? How do you try to respond going into a very emotional rivalry series?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was very emotional, but I'm so proud of this team and how we were able to compartmentalize everything that was happening and just go out there and play for like a bigger purpose. What happened, I think, just gave us all a lot of perspective on the game, and it doesn't really matter if you're striking out, having a bad at bat when you have a teammate who was taken off the field like that. And so we were just trying to play for her.
What's the difference like playing in center field compared to right field?
I mean, at practice, the outfielders are playing all the positions regardless of where we start once the lineup is written. So I've had reps in center, but it's definitely a transition just in terms of like communication with people next to me, but I feel confident out there.
That's Ariel Carlson ahead of this weekend against Oregon State. Senior week for Oregon softball. It's also game day today for Oregon baseball against Stanford. First pitch at 6 o'clock. Joey on air at the Oregon Sports Network at 5:45. Men's tennis currently in action against Arizona State at the Student Tennis Center. Last senior day, lacrosse going up against Arizona State for a Pape Field doubleheader tomorrow at noon. More football practices coming up. Packed weekend. Go Ducks!
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emma and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate,